Okay, today's video is going to be a little different. I'm editing some other things now, but today's video is going to show you how Mrs. Mark, how she makes masks for the COVID-19 problem. She makes masks, and she's made, I think, well over 150 now. They're pretty cool. They're high quality. She lets people pick out the fabrics and the styles they want, so they're pretty neat. So she's going to show you how to do that. Maybe you could make your own, or you could just watch how she does it. Pretty interesting. So that's the way I do it. Let's get to it.
Hi there, this is a cameo by Mrs. Jackson for Markism's Home Life and Auto How-Tos and more. Today we're going to make a mask. This is not a surgical or medical mask. This is more of a fashion mask for anybody who has a sewing machine or has a needle and is willing to do it. So today what we need are 2 to 3 pieces of fabric. They are 6.5 inches wide and 9 inches tall. I have a couple pins holding the 2 pieces of fabric together. You want to make sure you have right sides together because we're going to turn this inside out, and we want those on the outside here in a minute. If it was a little cooler, I would go ahead and include a 3rd piece, and that's what I would call it, consider a filter piece in this case. It's a piece of flannel. It does a really good job of filtering things out, and I would just do everything following the same way, just with that 3rd piece, and this will end up in the middle of this. Again, today it's in the 90s and above, and we really don't want that extra piece of flannel. We're going to set that out of the way. So the first thing we're going to do is, of course, pin it together just like we have. And then we're going to check the sewing machine because I have just put the thread in here. So we're just going to have a piece of scratch, and we're just going to run a little strip backwards a little bit, and just make sure nothing is falling out of alignment or tension. And that looks really good. So we are good to move forward. I'll give you a couple of little things. It just makes life a little easier. So the first thing we're going to do is do a line down each side. We're going to do one side quickly, and then I'm going to move on. Make sure you go ahead. I start a little bit in and get a little stitch going, and then back stitch all the way to the end. If your fabric is, or your sewing machine is a little more advanced, or if your seam allowance is greater, because I only have a 1/4 inch seam allowance. If you want to have a 1/2 inch or 3/4 inch, you'll need to add an extra 1/2 inch to your fabric, dynamics, so that you can allow for that. So, we're going to remove our pins as we go. You don't want to run over those boogers. I've done it a couple times this spring. I've broken a couple needles already, so I really try not to do that again. Just like that. I'm going to try to avoid that. And again, I'm going to back stitch at the end. There we go. I personally don't put needles or pins all the way around, because to me it's a little bit of booger. Takes up more time. I spend more time removing it than I do actually sewing. So we're going to trim our tails real quick. It's important for me anyway as I go, because I won't come back and find them all. Alright, since all we're going to do is do another straight line here. Since I already have that one done, I'm going to switch out. And then again, if you had your 3rd piece on here, you would literally just find it to your right sides, and then that would fit right through. So, and you can have a 4th piece. In the fall, I will definitely be doing more of these, so you can more supposed to. But again, for today, that's not our goal. We'll pull that back out. Next thing to do is just to kind of finger press your seams. Just give it a little press there. We're gonna go all the way through, up and down both seams. I'm just gonna do one seam today, just so that you have an idea of what's going on. If you have an iron and want to press these flat, that is completely okay. That's always a good idea. So, gives you a chance to look at everything and make sure everything's pretty even. Because the next step is to decide which way is up. This one has numbers on it, so therefore that makes this the upside. So we're going to do a little top stitch all the way down. I'm going to leave about a half inch on the top and a half inch on the bottom. That way when we fold our top and bottom in, you don't have to worry about that little crease there. A little bit of booger, you can do it. I've done it. All sorts of mistakes happen while you're sewing. So the best thing to do is figure out how to fix them. So again, I'm leaving about a half inch on the top, and then I'm going to notice the back stitch. And I'm leaving less than a 1/4 inch seam allowance here because it's just a top stitch. And then back. Just doing a top stitch. And I want to do the last, I don't know, half inch or so. So when I turn it over, it looks pretty good. And again, I don't want to go all the way to the end because we're going to turn that over here in a minute. Alright, there we go. Look at all that ready nest. So we'll do it again. It's never a bad idea anytime you have one of these little mess ups. Go ahead and do another test strip. Oftentimes when these things happen, I really enjoy having my sticky rolly available because it makes this cleanup so much easier. There we go. I'll just pull out my sticky rolly, catch all those loose little threads and pieces, and then I have one less thing to worry about. Since I live with a couple of different cats and a couple dogs, I have to be very cautious about where my needles and my pins and my thread end up. Because if they get ingested, it is a big issue. Alright, I'll try this again. Alright, that works. Yay, that's much better. Alright. So, when you're doing this, it's also important to pick the side that this is going to be most notable on, so you have an idea of which side needs to be the most, you're the most concerned about. Got that. So, continuing on. Make sure it's working. Stitch. And then just keep a little bit of tension on it. You want this thing to be as straight and consistent as possible. And back stitch again at the back. Alright. So that is much better this time. Again, I like to trim all my ends as I go, just because I have a tendency to forget them, and then I hate giving them out to people and going, oh wait a second, I need to trim that real quick. So we're going to go ahead and put a little top stitch here. Actually, we'd have to do a little finger press there and do a top stitch there. But since you know what that is, the next thing we're going to do, since we decided, so you do both of your top stitches first, but we're going to go ahead and skip that for right now because I have a little nose piece here. It's basically a little twist tie from bread or some such, but realistically, I have a lot of friends in the veterinary field and they were very kind and saved a lot of the nose pieces from their surgical masks. So it's a little better than twist tie, but it's about the same. If it was for you, You can certainly kind of eyeball this and say, yeah, that's pretty close to middle. But since it's for someone else, I'm going to do a quick check and see how far off I am. It is a little bit off, but not too off. So you wiggle that around. You have about the same distance on each side. That's pretty close. Alright, again, you know which side is upside and which side is going to look the most, make the most difference. And I think that will be it. You can put pins on the end in here just to kind of keep it snugged up, but I find that once I grew more comfortable with it, it was just one more pin I had to pull out. So I could just do that. So I'm going to fill the end of your twist tie there, and we're going to put it just to the left hand side of the needle, and you want your needle right on that top stitch that we just did. I usually go 3 to 4 stitches and then back, and then find a good stopping point, do a 90-degree turn, again press my little twist tie up in there, and in this case I'm going to make sure the outside of my pressure foot is right up against my top stitch. That usually does a pretty good job. It also keeps me pretty straight. A little bit of tension, and we're just going to keep on and do another nice straight line. Alright, and that's about right. If you want to go ahead and mark where you think the end is going to be, you certainly can with a little white pencil, fabric pencil, or just a regular old lead pencil. We were a little bit shy on that one, so it's going to see about that. That should be really close. We're good. So now I'm just going to do those 3 or 4 stitches at the end, just because it's a place of high friction, not necessarily friction, but stress. I just want to give it a little extra support. There we go. And again, trimming tails. Got that part. So you may not be able to see it as well on this one, but we have our top stitch on the top, the bottom, and we have our nose piece in. The next thing to do is to go ahead and fold your top and bottom pieces in, so that we can do a seam there and we can attach our elastic. So we're just going to give it not quite a half an inch, 3/8 or so. You know, if you can get away with a quarter, wonderful, but I don't have that ability. So just enough to make it easy to work with. Just a little finger press. Again, if it makes you feel better and you're great with an iron, go for it, because it will look sharp. So you may be able to see it here, but I went a little too far to the end, so it makes it a little more difficult to fold it down and keep it down. We're going to work on that. And we're going to do both ends that way. Get things fairly even. You can wiggle around with it. I like to start from the top where the nose piece is and go to the bottom, so if there's anything that doesn't quite match up, it ends up, your little pucker ends up on the bottom of the mask rather than the top. That's pretty close. We're going to look at the other side. That looks pretty good. Alright, the next thing to do, we're going to have 2 pieces of elastic here. They are both 6.5 inches long. It doesn't look like that anymore because we've taken our seams allowances out. So again, I start at the top, take my pin out. I'm just going to put it in between the fabrics, about 1/4 inch, maybe a little more. Depends on how firm it feels up in there. And then I'll just replace my pin. And try not to stick yourself. Unless you're a diabetic and need to check your blood glucose anyway. So I'm going to leave the tail loose for right now. Because by the time I get it down here and pinned in, it's a little snug and it gets in the way of the actual sewing machine. So I leave those loose. So I know I haven't done the other end, but we're going to move on. Just so you have a good idea. So, I'll show you what I do. This time I'm going to start from the inside and make a little seam, line there, just to hold everything in, and then I'm going to turn around. That way my sewing machine has a hard time dealing with 1/4 inch seams. So if you like 1/2 inch seams, just add it to the fabric size and you're good to go. So I'm going to flip it over and put it under there. Just remember whatever size seam allowance you have, we'll have to match it once we get this thing folded up. So, I'm going over my elastic once or twice, just to make sure it's well and thoroughly attached. I love my little shears here. They help me get real close to the fabric without leaving those little tags that annoy me. Alright, now that's not going anywhere. I'm not going to have trouble getting it started, so I'm going to stick it back under there and we'll go finish the seam. You just got to match things up, which can be a little bit of a bummer, but it's worth the effort to do it right if you got the time. Again, we're going to back stitch every time we start a seam and end the seam. And try to keep everything as even and consistent as you can. Alright, when we pull out that last pin, we're going to grab our elastic, pull it through, and stick it in between those two pieces of fabric. Some days are better than others, and then that's where you grab your seam ripper, and you just kind of poke it in there a little better. Position it more to your left. Just really got with that. There. Just go ahead and finish our seam. Alright. Tidy up our tails. We do have a few more tails using this method, but for me, it makes sure I have nice tidy little seams and things like that. Alright, so the next one, as you can see, we have a top stitch around our nose piece, and essentially we put a little top stitch on each side. It closes that up. So it's essentially a pillowcase, just a little fancier. So the next thing to do is actually to put pleats in there, so that we have a complete like that, something like that. So we actually have a pleated mask. Now this handy dandy little ruler that I think most people use for hymns. Alright, for me, I'm going to go 1.5 inches in, and then we're going to do fold it up 5/8. That's works pretty well for me. I always fiddle around with it a little bit. And the goal is my goal is for it to be approximately 3 inches wide when we're done with it. That way we have some nice pleats. You can see the fabric, it looks lovely. I do not recommend you put needles in your mouth. Here you can swallow them, but I have a bad habit. As I go, I tend to go ahead and kind of, again, finger press the folds just so they don't move on me too much. And again, we're going to do 1.5 inches up from the bottom. And hold up. That is about right. I know it's not 100% on, but I just need it to look pretty even. And it does. And we'll measure it here in a minute just to make sure what I'm eyeballing is correct. Approximate 5/8 down. That way you get get your fold, and then pin it into place. And then again, I like to go ahead and do a little pressing. Nothing official. And just see how far off I am. I'm just a hair over 3 inches. And right at 3 inches. So I'll take a gander and see what the difference is. Should be spot on now. Sometimes it's just the little adjustments that make it right. So when we get it sewn on the edges, it'll pop up just like that. It's gonna look lovely. Or you could wear the other side, which is completely okay. Just of course wash between uses, because otherwise it defeats the whole purpose. I like to start always from my nose piece so that everything is shifted the same direction at the same time. All we're going to do is run over that same seam that we just made, and then just make sure your edges match up pretty well. Sometimes it's a little difficult to get started. New seam with a back stitch, forward stitch, my needles as they go. Check the edges. This is the last time I'm going to monkey with that, and then go forward. It wanted to roll over the whole darn thing, so we're not going to do that. And since this is an area of high stress, since there's going to be a lot of things moving there, I always like to go back and forth a couple different times, just to give it a little extra anchor. There we go. And you can always fiddle with it. The best thing about sewing, it's not done until you give it away. And I'm a little bit off there. You can see you can see the 2 different seams, but the rest of it looks pretty good. There we go. See if we have any brightness on the back. But hey, not today. That looks pretty good. Alright, let's go to the other side. Make sure it has grown a little bit. It's now 3 1/4, so hopefully it'll happen on the same side. If not, we'll break out that seam ripper and do it again. Pins out before I run over things, adjust as needed, because hopefully this is the last time I look at the seam. The first little bit is always the more challenging, getting your pressure foot over that little bit of feather. There we go. That's the second one. Again, it's not perfect, but it's pretty close. And it's not as pretty on this side. So a little bit later, I'll probably pull that back out and straighten that up some. I would like this, and that one's a little shorter than that edge. So we'll pull out our seam ripper, figure out where things got shortened, and go from there. And then just do it again. And that's all you have to do. Alright. Make sure that, yeah, that's the long side. So what had happened is that on that first time it got stuck, and the pressure foot kind of pushed this part down, which pushed that part down a little bit further. So we're going to pull, let's see, got a little bit of room there. We could just sew over it one more time, but I want to fix those few little things. So we're just going to pull out this whole piece here. And we'll start again. But essentially, that's how it's done. So now you have a complete mask ready to go for someone to help them save the world. So if you have any questions, leave a comment, like, and subscribe. And let us know what you think if you would like more of this content. So thank you very much.